I want to thank you all for the honor of being able to address this community here on this occasion, and attribute it all to the Gadlut, as has been mentioned, of Yehuda. I got to know Yehuda, the kid brother of my young bride, before my wedding, more or less the same time that he started a romance with Chofetz Chaim. Chofetz Chaim became more important in his life as events that singled him out as someone special early on with the illness and ultimate untimely deaths of his parents. The yeshiva served as a beacon of stability and a warm home for him both spiritually and physically. And Yehuda the boy and the grown man always showed a keen desire to learn from all around him. Often he turned to me and asked me about how I felt about this or that, always with the utmost respect and desire to understand. The same was true, I'm sure, towards his teachers in Chofetz Chaim, who showed him the way to a moral upright life of Kedusha and Chesed. Just 2 weeks ago, I learned a story from my friend and neighbor, Dr. Ari Teitelbaum, whom some of you may know, who lived and worked here in Queens as an optometrist. He told the story of the recently passed on Rosh Hashiva, from after whom his youngest son altered his name, Rabbi Alta Chanoch Heinrich Leibowitz. The story goes that Ari was an optometrist known to the Rosh Hashiva. Rosh Hashiva came to him and asked him to prepare him glasses. He was wearing these square, old-time glasses. Get him new ones. And so he did it. And the Rosh Hashiva comes back to get his product. And he says to Ari, how much does it cost? So he says, nothing. It's an honor for me to give it to you. You want to give a donation to the yeshiva? Give a donation to the yeshiva. But I got to pay you. So how much is it? So he says, $75. The Rosh Hashiva, what does he say? He says, I can see in your eyes that 75 is about half. So I'm going to write $150. He writes him $150 and more. And this is a simple story that tells all about the moral integrity of this yeshiva and its teachers. For this we thank you. We can only call upon you all to continue this great work, and for the honor that you do to the Simes family, our zchut is yours, and we shall be forever bound to you by a common strong bond. But we come here to study and commemorate the life and memory of Yehuda, the sweet boy in our wedding pictures, who danced with his kippah flying in the air, and before there's misunderstanding, that kippah was a knitted crocheted kippah. He was a lover of life and of American football. And in memory, we're also here in memory of the same Talmid Chacham, a great soul who reached heights of Kedusha, became an Ish Kadosh in a shortened lifespan. Heights that most do not reach at all, as has been mentioned. How do we match these two images? Well, let's see what Kadosh means. What are we talking about? The Torah says to us in Parshat Kedushim, Kedushim to you. And we wonder what that means. Rashi says, Kedushim min avira, free from sin. The problem that modern man has with this translation is its negative connotation. You are holy if you keep from transgressing the mitzvot lo taseh. What is the positive command to be Kedushim? The pasuk in Parshat Kedushim seems to indicate that to be Kadosh is a way of life in which one emulates HaKadosh Baruch Hu, walks in his footsteps. It says, Kedushim to you, ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokechem. This week's parasha tells us of the most amazing miracle of all in the history of the Jewish people, Kriyat Yam Suf. I want to suggest we see this parasha and next week's parasha of Matan Torah as mirror images of each other. two forms of revelation of Hashem. In Parshat Yitro, we learn of Hashem the teacher, whose gift to the Jewish people of the Torah and the command. Learn this, work out halakha, and this will carry you through the generations in the path of Kedusha. This week's Parashat Bashalach gives us the experience, the emotional vision, and the understanding of Hashem's mastery of the universe and special connection to Am Yisrael. The Mechilta tells us that the simplest maid standing at Kriyat Yam Suf reached levels of Kedusha, saw things that the most spiritual, as it were, of prophets, Yechezkel, who saw visions of Hashem, he saw Kisei HaKavod. The Shifchei Bayam had greater Kedusha. We still don't understand what that elusive concept of Kedusha is then. Rav Soloveitchik speaks of being at one in the presence of the Almighty, in time and space, seeking Hashem in history and in your own world, similar to the Shifchei Bayam experiencing Hashem in a very real way. One who can see and experience Hashem in his own life in that way must be our example of Kadosh. Rav Kook writes in Orot HaKodesh of the Achdut that is Hashem. To reach heights of holiness is to see each object, person, theory and understanding of the world as part of the whole, with its own integrity and scheme of things. Kedusha is feeling the Achdut of Hashem. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs gave me a key to understanding all these different ideas by linking all these ideas under one Kabbalistic idea. He writes in an essay on Kedusha and Kahuna about Shabbat. A holy day. In what way? A common widespread concept today, which we all hear about, originates in Kabbalah, and is that of Tzimtzum. HaKadosh Baruch Hu reduced His holiness, His presence in the world in order to create the physical, and the secular, and the material world as we know it. That's a difficult concept, but we hear the words. Examples. Shabbat is the cessation of work, empty time, Kedushat Hazman. Shabbat, we withdraw from the physical world, we do less, we stop creating, we stop our activity, and in the open space of time that we give, we are creating Kedusha. Shabbat is also Kedushat HaMakom, emptiness of man's doing in space that's given to us. We don't build, we don't occupy the world. As in the Mishkan is a very good example of this, where the sanctuary is empty and holy. The Mishkan itself was a long courtyard with emptiness, nothing in it, and just the Mizbeach and the Aron at the side. So we seem to be talking of Tzimtzum, reduction of man and his activity in order to make space for Kedusha. Because Hashem created the world of matter and secular material by Tzimtzum. Man is required to reciprocate by Tzimtzum of his physical needs and desires to create holiness around him. For modern man, this message is difficult. We are used to our creature comforts. We even think of them as being elevating and sometimes implying Kedusha. But if we're right that this is the meaning of Kedusha, that would certainly be a good and apt description of the man, Rabbi Yehuda Pinchas, who was always modest, unassuming, giving space to others. And this was given even greater emphasis and clarity when his functional body was restricted, and his physical needs converted totally out of recognition to that of the normal human being. This was not enough for the soul of Rabbi Yehuda Pinchas. He agonized continuously with the question of what is it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants of me? If this is holiness, what do I do with it? And so I think we come now to the second message of his life and strive for holiness and perfection of the soul, also in today's Parsha, that comes from Parshat Haman. The man is a challenge. The Torah itself says, "Leman anasenu ayelech b'torati imlo." Am Yisrael has to collect the man under the certain conditions, but what is the trial here? What could be easier than collecting your food off the ground every morning and eating it? It tasted good. No work involved. What is the nisayon? Am Yisrael are given 3 commandments regarding the man: to collect only what they are budgeted, to collect exactly double on Fridays, and to not leave any over. There are several explanations given in the Mefarshim. I quote Rav Medan, a great teacher in Israel and head of Yeshivat Har Etzion. This was an exercise in restraint, making do with less and not hoarding. This is a test in faith in Hashem that runs in direct conflict with man's nature. But only when man realizes his dependence on Hashem can he be truly aware of the chesed with which the world and he were created. That is man's key to doing chesed for others, in the knowledge that everything I have is his. Rabbi Yehuda Pinchas Simes was one man whose life and essence were focused on these 2 points. Of the Kedusha we've spoken. But his chesed was uncountable. His love of children and ability to contact with them all. His utmost respect to everyone, which I've mentioned. With an earnest desire to learn from you, whoever you are, was ever present in him. In his talks and his blogs written after his accident, Rabbi Simes talked frequently about how we should learn from his experience, as he himself did, of the great miluk chesed of so many simple tasks that we perform without thinking or noticing, let alone stopping to say, "Thank you, Hashem." His prime example was breathing. Do you think about the miracle of taking a breath? This is the basis for doing chesed. If you do not feel blessed, how can you bless others? He enjoyed doing mitzvot with others, especially. This is the basis for his desire to have tefillin put on him in spite of his not being mitzvah. This was a chesed he did. And that chesed had its immediate rewards for him by giving him the joy of having brought one person closer to mitzvot, to loving them and having them know that this was a chesed that Hashem gave us. Doing chesed for others, loving every child and helpless other beings in this world, sharing with us all his innocence and his lack of cynicism that unfortunately is so common in the modern world, was his way in life, before and after the accident. His humility and warmth were felt and appreciated by all who met him. And, as we've said, his untiring search for Kedusha. Before his accident, you could easily have missed it. Quiet, soft-spoken, with $1 million smile that made you feel warm and fuzzy inside. The children he taught sensed it. They ran to meet him and accompany him on the walk from his car to the school. From what? Perhaps a preternatural sense of his proximity to Hashem. But if we had any doubt of his holiness, the life of sincere search for Hashem's will in his premature leave-taking of his functional body that he led after the accident was intensified and occupied a lot of his energy. He had a singular ability to concentrate his abilities left to him toward the dual goals of understanding what Hashem wants of me in this human state of limitation and estrangement from mitzvot, as well as bringing goodwill and love of Torah to all who met him after that cataclysmic event. These unparalleled abilities in such an apparently handicapped person have etched him in the memory of all he knew as an example of all these basic tenets that make up a Jewish life. We are all called upon to emulate and learn from this Ish Kadosh. All of us must strive to be true to these dual goals of our lives, to learn from our teachers, younger and older than us. Rabbi Yehuda Simes is today one of my principal teachers of life's goals and how to implement them. He calls upon all of us to realize our potential. Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha, go for broke, and we can all do it. What a legacy is left to us all. Remember, לא בשמיים היא, בפיך ובלבבך לשאת.